Hi, welcome to Attune Worldwide. This is Chandni Thakkar here. I'm working as trainer over here and today I'm going to take webinar on JUnit. In this particular webinar, we are going to have comparison of manual testing versus automated testing. Then we will have a look on JUnit and its features. Then we will see what is a test case. Then we are going to run the JUnit example. Then we are going to discuss assertions and annotations. We will have example of this also. Then in last, you will have time for your queries. So you can ask the queries if you have. So let's start with comparison of manual testing versus automated testing. Now let's talk about basic. What is a testing? To check the functionality of an application, testing is done. In automated unit testing, a software code is written that will check another code and it will validate the behavior of that particular code. Unit testing is not suitable for testing complex user interface or complex component interaction. Unit testing comes in picture at developer level. Ultimately, it increases quality of product as each and every single entity is tested. So in simple words, classes and methods are tested with other code, that is unit testing. There are two ways for unit testing. One is manual and automated. Test cases can be executed in these two ways. The first, in which you are not going to take help of any tool, that is known as manual testing. You are going to execute the test case manually. But in the case when you are going to have support of automation tool, that is known as automated testing. In automated testing, programming is done. A code is written to validate your other code in automated testing. Manual testing is time consuming and tedious work, while automated testing is fast in comparison of manual testing. That is very expected behavior. Then manual testing is less reliable in comparison with automated testing because a human can make more mistakes than a machine. In the case of manual testing, so many testers are required. So ultimate resources, human resources are more in manual testing. While in automated testing, the tool gives you help. So to execute a test case, you can take help from your tool. So number of testers are less in automated testing. So human resources required for automated testing are less. So after all this discussion, we can say automated testing is much more beneficial. It is fast, it is more reliable, and it requires less resources. So this was the comparison of manual testing versus automated testing. Now let's talk about JUnit. We have already seen automated testing and manual testing. Now JUnit is one of the most important testing framework for Java programming language. JUnit is open source and a simple unit testing framework. With the help of JUnit, developers can find out error at the earlier stage of development lifecycle. Developers develop some code, then test it, then again code, and then again test. So if there is an error, it will be identified at the earlier stage. So at the end, when integration is done, at that time, the debugging time will be less. So it increases the productivity. So developers can more focus on developing features rather than just doing debugging. JUnit has annotations, assertions, and test runners. With little practice, you can achieve the speed for unit testing. It is very simple. It shows progress bar with two colors, green and red. Whenever you are going to execute a test case, if it is executed successfully, it will show a green light, and if it has some error, it will show a red light. It has feature of test suite for grouping. It can contain the test cases and other test suites. When you want to group some test cases, you can use test suite in JUnit. Now we have said so many times test cases, test cases. Now what is a test case? So test case is a small code to test your code, and a unit test case ensures another code works proper. Unit test is generally written for small entities such as methods and class. It is nothing but the code that will make sure that your code is executing proper. Your development or your software will have classes and objects and methods. So the code that you are going to write to test your original code, that is test case. A special method is created in the class that is specifically for testing, that is known as test case. Test method is simple method with annotation at the rate test. We are going to see this practically also. Then in test case, assert methods are used to execute a test. In assert method, you have to pass the expected result and actual result to get the output. When you are passing the expected result and actual result, you will have either a green light or a red light. If both the results are same, then you will have a green light. That means your test case has passed, and if the result is not same, then you will have a red light. So with the help of assert method, you can get the status of test case. In assert method, you can provide the message also for the name of test, so that for just for better understanding and less conflict. Like you are writing some test case for getting the result, then you are writing some test case for getting the salary of employee, or you are writing some test case to get the grade of an employee. Then whatever the test case you are writing, you can pass the number so that you can find out for which purpose you have written, and for the less conflict. Then developers should write two test cases for each requirement, one positive test case and one negative test case. And if there are sub requirements also, then it also should have two test cases, one positive and one negative. So we have talked about test cases, automated testing, manual testing, and JUnit. Now after all this theory discussion, let's move practically. Now we are going to run the JUnit example. Before running the JUnit example, make sure that you have JDK installed on your system. You have set the environment variables, and you have Eclipse also working in your system. We are directly moving with JUnit, how to download the JUnit and how to run with JUnit. So make sure that you have JDK and Eclipse on your system. So here you can see my Eclipse is running. Don't worry about these projects, we are going to create a new one. First you have to download the JUnit jar file. So just search on Google, you will find out the link of GitHub. Just simply click on that, and you can see here JUnit jar file. The current version is 4.12, but whenever you are going to see this webinar, it may change. And I have worked on this 4.11, so just simply download on this jar. So my downloading has started over here, and I have already downloaded, and my Eclipse is over here and my JUnit is over here. So let's make say Java project. I'm giving name my first JUnit example, and right click properties. We have a Java build path, and we have to add libraries. I'm going to add library of JUnit, and I have already downloaded and put over here. So just to finish, so JUnit library is by default added over here. So the setting is done for my JUnit. Now I'm going to create a class. I'm writing the name get some class. So here I'm going to write a method that is public integer get sum, and it accepts two argument, integer a, integer b, and here I'm going to write a simple logic return a plus b. As we are going to just start with unit testing, I'm not going to write any complex logic over here. I'll just simply return a method that has return type integer, and that accepts two argument, integer a and integer b, and the sum of a and b is written as. So our method is ready. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to write a test method for this particular method. I'm going to create a class that is tester of get sum. Now first I'm going to create an object of this particular class, so that with the help of object I can call this method. So let's make object of this class. So object is ready. Now I'm going to write a method that will test this particular method. So to write a test method, there is annotation at the rate test. So now what I'm going to do is public void test sum. So this method is going to work as test method because here we have annotation at the rate test. So I'm going to import this. Now I'm going to take a variable integer result is equals to object dot get sum, and as argument I'm passing 10 10. So the method get sum is called from here with argument 10 and 10. So 10 and 10 are passed over here. Sum will be done over here, and that will be returned in integer. So 20 is returned over here, and that will be assigned to this particular variable, that is to the result. So after this particular statement we will have 20 in my result variable. So now I'm going to import assert class. Now I'm going to write a method assert dot assert equal, and my expected result is in variable result, and actual result is 20. So let's just save and run this. So here you can see that it gives a green light. Now let's change this actual result. I am making expected result 30. So again run this, and here you can see there is a red light. It means that your expected result and actual result are not same over here. Your actual result was 20 over here, while you have written 30. So when you are going to, suppose I'm making a change over here, instead of 10 I'm making it 20. So now I have passed 20 and 10, so result will be 30 over here. So this will have 30 and this will also have 30. So again we will have a green light. So this was the basic example how to run a test unit with JUnit. So here what we have done is we have created this method test sum. that has annotation at the rate test. So it is going to work as a tester method. Here we have get the result in this particular variable result. Then we have used this assert equal method with the actual result and our expected result. So when both the results are same, it is going to give a green light, and when both the results are not same, it is going to have a red light. So the same way you can create other programs as well. Now let's have another example. I have already created a Maven project for this particular example. You can use Java project as well if you wish. And I have created two programs, one for assertion methods and one for annotations. So we are going to see few assertion methods and annotations methods here. Assert equals, assert true, assert false, assert not null, null. These all are the basic assertion methods. Assert same, not same, array equals. You can have some modifications in assertion methods. We are going to see practically. And we will have a look at annotations at the rate test, at the rate before, after, before class, after class, and ignore. I have just simply created Maven project and a simple class. I have created two simple class in my Maven project. Rather, you can create a simple Java project and a simple class. That is also okay. I have not done anything else in this particular project. I have written coding that I am going to explain you. You can create a Java project and you can write the class and you can write the code in that as well. So let's first have the assertion methods. Here I have assertion method demo class, and I have written some import statements. Here is my method test assertions, that is annotation at the rate test. I have one string, string 1, string 2, string 3, 4 and 5, and here you can see I have assigned values. Then I have integer values 1 and 2. Then I have array, attune worldwide and attune worldwide. Now see, I'm going to run this. So here it is showing me a green light. That means all these test cases are true. I have written so many test cases just to show you this assert methods. So here you can see first I have written assert equals method, that is string 1 and string 2 that we have already seen with integer. Here I have given this example with a string. So the same way you can use for float or double value or for object or etc. Then here I have seen used assert true, that means the condition over here, if it is a true then test case will be true. Suppose I am making it greater, so the value 1, that is 1 is greater than 2, so this condition is false. 1 is not greater than 2, so this test case is going to fail. So when you are going to run this, it will show a red light over here, because whenever there is error in any of the test cases, it will show a red light. Whenever there all the test cases are true, then and only then it is going to give a green light. So again I have created it less than, so it was assert true. Now we are here, I have used assert false. What does this mean is the condition passed over here should be false, then the test case will be true. So let's run this. So here the condition is false because what I have written is 1 is greater than 2, that is false. So when a false is passed in assert false, that means the test case is true, so it is going to give a green light. Then I have used this method assert not null with the argument string 1. The string 1 is obviously not null because here it is already assigned with value attune. So it is going to give a true value, that assert not null. So string 1 is not null, so the test case is true. Then I have a method assert null with the argument string 3. Here you can see that in string 3 I have passed null. So it is going to check whether the string 3 is null or not. If it is null, then it is going to pass the test case, and here you can see the test case is passed. So we have green light. Then I have used this assert same and assert not same. In same, I have passed string 4 and 5. You can see that string 4 and string 5 are same. So the values that they have same. So this test case will be executed and it will be passed because string 4 and 5 are same. Then I have assert not same string 1 and string 3. Here you can see the value of string 1 and the string 3 are different. Here you can see that string 1 is having a string value and string 3 is null value. So they both are not same. So this test case is also going to execute successfully because these values are not same and not same will be passed. Then I have test case for assert array equals. I have expected array and I have result array. Here you can see both are having the same value. Now let's change value in one test case and again execute it. So here you can see that it is having a red light because this test case was failed. So again make it same and run. So it is passed now because expected array and result array are same. So these were the assertion methods that you can use. There are so many other methods as well. We have seen very basic methods. We have seen almost all basic methods. Then you can pass the string over here and you can make some variations in assert methods. Now let's see annotations. We have seen only this test annotation. Now there are another annotations as well. The one is before class, then is after class, there is before, there is after the test, and there is ignore. So let's just first run and see the output. So here you can see the output. The method with annotation before class, that is executed very first, then method with annotation before, that is executed, then method with annotation test is executed, then after and after class. So first you can see the method that have annotation before class, that will be executed very first. Before the execution of class, the method that have this annotation, that will be executed. Then we have simple annotation at the rate before, without this before, without this keyword class. So this method with before, so this method with annotation before will be executed before the test is executed. So here in this particular method you can write the code that should be executed before the test should be executed, like you want to initialize some variables or you want to open some database or whatever, the code should be executed before your test method is executed. That should be written in this particular method with the annotation at the rate before. So they both are executed, then your test method will be executed in this sequence. So once your test method is executed, your after method will be executed. That is over here. You can see the method that has annotation at the rate after, that will be executed once the test method is executed. So whatever the code that you want to run after the test is executed, that should be written in this method that have annotation at the rate after. For example, you want to close your database connection or you want to free the resources like printer or any, that should be released after the test is executed. So all that coding you can write in this after method. And after test is also one annotation that will be executed at the end of class. After class will be executed at the end of class. After the execution of whole class, this method will be executed at the last. And here you can see we have also written one more annotation at the rate ignore, but that is not executed. Whatever the test method that you want to should that it should be ignored for this particular test, that you can write with ignore. Once you have written some code and you don't want to remove, you just want to ignore it for this particular test, and later on you want to make it run, then you can keep the code as it is, just write the annotation at the rate ignore. So this was the annotations and assertions we have discussed. Here also you can see list is also there for assertion and annotations: assert equals, assert true, assert false, then assert null and assert not null, and assert same, assert not same, assert array equals. We have almost seen all of this. Then we have seen annotations: at the rate test, at the rate before, at the rate after, at the rate before class, at the rate after class, and ignore. Let's just one revise. Test is used to write the test case before class that will be executed before the class is executed. Then before will be executed before the test is executed, after will be executed once the test is executed, and after class will be executed once the class has completed the coding, and ignore will be ignored, the test case will not be executed. So this was all about JUnit. We have seen automated testing and manual testing. Then we have seen how to run JUnit. We have seen JUnit and features. We have discussed test cases. We have discussed assertion and annotations in JUnit. So we have almost completed with all the topics. Now we have few times left for your queries. So you can ask the queries if you have. We have time for your queries. Hello all, you can ask the queries if you have. We have time for your queries. Okay, so I think all these things were clear to all, and we have discussed almost all the fundamentals, and we have completed the webinar on JUnit. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed the JUnit, and on behalf of whole A family, I thank you to all for attending the webinar, and we are also going to have so many webinars in future. Come back for our next webinar. Once again, myself Chandni Thakkar, I'm thanking you to you all for attending the webinar. Thank you.